the Clementine house. It has a house, and I really wanted to pay tribute to the story of the house. And even I was at the Registry of Deeds yesterday looking up some more, and I found some more history. Like Clementine actually owned this house and bought this house. When originally the story was told that, well, I don't know if I want to get into the story, but she was the mistress of a doctor, and he built this house for her. Like the original stone fireplace, she handpicked all the stones that are in that fireplace from the property. So there's a really great story that goes along with this house, and it's kind of taken over me as far as it goes. I know Chris says, people ask me, what's the Clementine house?
Yeah, I think without having that story, it would have been a different endeavor. But I think the fact that you've retained the charm and, you know, the like you say, originality of the interior and what that intent was, I think is great. And then when we started adding, ripped the porch off, which was falling off.
I did not want to do.
Yeah.
My husband wanted to do that.
But then with these, open it all up, but also have it be for season, and then getting the Marvin windows in, and was a huge hybrid with SKA and figuring all that out.
Yeah. And we worked with architects for SKA architects to help design the enclosed porch, which is really, it's like al fresco dining, because all of the Marvin windows, they bifold open, so you can have, I still wanted to keep that openness of the porch, so we did, that was achieved as well.
Yeah, with some creative
problem solving.
Yes.
Basically, we bought this as is. I said to my husband, we are the as is purchasers of homes that need help. So we bought this 1918 post and beam with no insulation, with the intent of, it was 3-season, with the intent of making it a ski house. So we needed a contractor. And in the meantime, we needed some plumbing work. So Chris and I met through a referral.
Yeah.
And I basically said, I've worked with a lot of contractors, and some don't want to work with a designer and implement their vision for the house. And the whole idea and aesthetic was to keep the charm and the originality of the house without making it too modern. And when I met Chris, we met here in February. I remember slipping all over the driveway with ice. And I told him what I wanted to do. He said, yeah, I can work with you, which was great. And it's been great.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a couple of years in now. I think
Four?
that first meeting, because we kind of talked about after it, like what made you feel like this was a good fit. And I think it was more around, repurposing things or saving some walls and like having some creative solutions to the problems without being like so linear.
Yes.
And I guess it was the problem solving piece of it that you were kind of like, yeah, this is a good fit. And then we've continued that. Yeah.
And it's been a lot of bouncing ideas off of each other, and also with your crew. I mean, they've been great to work with. I know I can be, I don't want to say difficult sometimes, but I know my vision sometimes is hard for other people to see. But Chris got it, even with the doors. I wanted to keep the old doors in the house and repurpose them. Instead of the swings were wrong on them in some of the rooms. So we made them pocket doors and kept the original doors.
The floor had to be ripped up because it was on columns, or just like original stone columns. So there wasn't really any foundation. They had wind and critters and everything else come underneath it.
You sent me a picture. You're like, oh, we tore up the floor. We have a family of raccoons living underneath, possums underneath the floor. I'm like, great. Did you save the floor? He's like, we can't save this floor. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
I wanted to save the floor. We couldn't do that. But the end result is like, we're super happy with it.
Yeah.
I love working with Chris. He's great. Fireplace was a big thing for us. We bought the house because of the fireplace, when we walked in and saw the fireplace. And then after we closed, we came over and started a fire, and it smoked us out. So, I mean, that, and then we had to we wanted to keep that fireplace, but we had to add.
I think that was the biggest thing that held, there was small discussion around, could you tear it down? And it's like that, but that was quickly never an option. And then
Yeah.
also, or could we, do something to raise the house, but then you've got the fireplace. So it's like, the fact that fireplace had to remain and work with that intentionally was kind of grounded literally, like what we were going to do around the rest of it. I think it's just, we were really specific about what mattered. The siding that was on the house originally, that 3.5 novelty, they don't make anymore. So like having that made so that everything flows like it was original, like her attention to detail and picking certain details that had to stay. And then obviously we got away with, doing some newer materials with the synergy ceilings or, the windows, and I think it's that
beams.
hybrid.
Yeah, bringing the beams, the same look of the original beams that are in the main house out into the porch on the ceiling. So Chris, you kind of nailed that. That was like the first thing you sent me. I was like, that's it. For me, it's always like instant gratification, and I can't wait, and and this is what I tell my clients, you got to live with it for a little bit, and you have to see the process. You have to embrace the process. It's been a great collaboration.
Yeah.
He's easy to work with, and he'll say yes. If he thinks he can do it, he can do it. And a lot of builders or contractors won't do that. They won't see the designer's vision. I think until I've been doing this for a long time, and I think when you see someone you can work with as a designer that appreciates, the aesthetic, the charm, the story, that's a big win for me, to collaborating with a contractor.